Hey guys, this is Paul Bart's Garage. Just kind of giving an update. I think this may be part 4, maybe part 5. I don't know. I have to look to see. I've posted several videos about the 700R4 transmission in this truck. It's an 88 model GMC Sierra. And I did some videos to, try to help folks out if they're having problems with theirs all of a sudden. Worst case scenario, it probably needs the pump may be bad in it, needs a full rebuild, but best case scenario that the detent was sheared off and kind of made a makeshift cable for it, put it on there, which really needs to be replaced. That's my next project. You can get them you can get them for $25 at the local parts store at Vance. Looked them up and they were like almost around $25 with tax. The only problem, I have an Edelbrock carburetor, and mine just has a bolt with some nuts on the linkage, and I'll have to buy something to make the end of the detent cable that you get from them work to where to snap in place and then adjust that out. But anyway, I took the governor out and I was showing y'all how I got it out and how I took it apart, how I cleaned it and put it back together, and the do's and don'ts that I learned, and ways to clean them out. And I also showed damage on the cap that actually, when you put the governor back in the case of the transmission and you put the cap on that you have to pull off to get to the governor, that governor actually spins around. That's what helps builds line pressure, and the whole thing spins in there. The gear, it spins on the tail housing gear on the inside and builds line pressure. And I noticed on that cap cover there was damage, which I showed in the last video, and on the end of the governor was damaged. And some of the transmission shops locally around here that rebuild them for a living told me that if those two surfaces aren't matching up right and it's not spinning and it's hanging up, especially when you get on it, it could be not building up enough pressure for it to change into third gear. And they said sometimes the detent cable ain't right or whatnot. You could be starting out in second gear when you start out instead of first that you think, and when it changes 2 gears you're actually in a 4th gear and just don't realize it. But anyway, got everything back in the truck, drove it last night. This is the next day. This is Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday when I was actually made my last video, and it's actually doing the same thing. But what I was going to do is go for a short drive so that I don't know if y'all are going to be able to hear the truck, because rev up and stuff doing the same thing it was doing. Don't have an RPM gauge in this truck, so it's going to be kind of hard unless you can just actually hear what it's doing. But it takes reverse fine. I mean, reverse is working fine. If I manually shift it and put it in first gear, it'll shift from first gear into second gear on its own. I don't know why it's doing that. I didn't know that it would do that. I figured just stay in first. But like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I don't know why it does it, but we're going to do it that way. Anyway, it's in first according to my selector, but it'll shift in second on its own. Second gear just went in second on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and put what I believe is third gear. See how it revs up? And sometimes it will take the third gear or 4th gear, but I don't know if you can hear it or tell what it was doing, but I'm trying to get on. See, like then it just took it like it's supposed to. Pretty much made a see how it's just revving up. I would take it out on the highway out here, but it's just way too much traffic. Now I'm going to be stranded on the side of the road because it's only a 2-lane road and cause an accident or something. But it'll go in first and second gear and drive all day long, first and second gear so far. pull it down in first, but it'll change in the second on its own. Change the first second like a dream. See how it just revs up and then jumps? I just really don't want to drive it that much with it doing that until I can fix it, because it's just not good on it. But, you know, I'm just hoping it's something simple, because I definitely don't want to have to rebuild the 700R4. People around here, like, you can tell when they're going to run a big one in you when you call them. And of course, I know a 700R4 is an older transmission, but I got online last night, and you can find the kits to rebuild them everywhere. They didn't stop making the kits for them. And the local shop around here, I guess he's wanting some Christmas money, because me bringing it to him, me pulling it out and bringing it to him, he's wanting $800. He was like, well, $800, but you know, them kits are getting hard to find, so it could be a little more than that. And I'm like, yeah, $800 to $1,200 to $1,300 probably. And but I know, you know, I've watched people rebuild them things. I know it takes a while to do it, and it's painstaking, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, or you got a lot in your shop that you're trying to do, and you're wanting to get paid really good for your time. But I'm not trying to pay nobody's mortgage for 2 months on getting one of these things rebuilt, especially if I'm going to pull it out and you build it and me come get it, put it back in myself. But that's what I'm trying to avoid. Maybe wishful thinking, but I'm going to order a new governor and the new cap and a new detent cable. I found the governor and the cap with the O-ring gasket I need on eBay for $69. And the detent cable advance, for which I'm going to buy it probably today or tomorrow, and try to get it in by this weekend. It's supposed to be in the 70s down here in Foley, Alabama. For all you people who are in snow right now, it hardly ever gets cold down here. I love it. Don't have gnats flying up your nose and stuff this time of year either, because it's so humid. But that's what it's doing. I'm hoping it's not the pump, maybe wishful thinking. I'm hoping it may be the governor and that cap not working together right, because like I said, it's supposed to spin in there freely. And the detent cable, which let me show you how I got this makeshift detent cable real quick. I don't like making real long videos of talking, because people get agitated when somebody talks a whole lot. Like I said, I'm not doing this to be YouTube famous or nothing. I'm just doing it to hopefully help some folks out. Try to save somebody some money that may be on my level of mechanic, which basically I'm a moron when it comes to mechanicking. Hence the name Paul Blart's Garage. But right here is the detent cable for the 700R4. And as you can see, somebody had repaired it right there once before, but I just made a makeshift one, and it doesn't stretch it out a whole lot. I said it's right here. Now I'm going to buy a new one and put it on there, and probably get the Elderbrock makes a kit you can get that bolts on here. That end will snap on there right. Because as of right now, when I buy the detent cable for this, it's not going to fit right there. It's just going to be a little black plastic piece that snaps over a rod that comes out right here. When it was a TBI engine on a throttle body, I'll have to buy the part that snaps onto right here. And I really don't like how that's sitting at an angle. It needs to be straight. So I don't know if I'm going to put some washers up under here and raise that up a little bit, or whatnot. But if I can just get it somewhat close, and it still doesn't change out after I do all that and replace the governor and the cap, then I guess my next thing is either find the 700R4 used that somebody guaranteed for 30 days, or pulling that out and seeing if I can't get it rebuilt. But hopefully this kind of explains, or hopefully this helps some people maybe make a decision on what they may be going through. But anyway, this will do it for Paul Blart's Garage, and I will give you updates later. Thank you.